I think it's time to get back into the Big Bun Game Club. Finally, we have that was 18 minutes of chat, which is fine. I mean, I also started kind of late as well than I wanted to, but it's fine. Oh, one last thing I do want to say. I talked about this on the stream earlier, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail. I can talk more about it after the stream, but I got these vinyls for Persona 5
Okay.
Royal. Great. Well, the soundtrack is great. You can't deny the soundtrack is a banger.
Like I
But
said, I know nothing about Persona 5. I just refuse to play any other games after that shit Persona 4. So continue.
but
Sorry.
anyways, I was on Reddit and I was asking like, oh, does this vinyl have a digital code so I can like put it on my phone or whatever? One person said no, it doesn't, which is fine. Like, okay. All I said was it's a shame that there's no other way to listen to the soundtrack. Like Alice does not want to make the soundtrack available. And this guy just kept yelling at me all day about like, wow, you're ruining collecting. Why are you doing this? You're such an entitled bitches. And you're saying you want the as like what the like I just said I was like I think you misunderstand. I'm not saying that the vinyl should be available. I'm saying like the soundtrack itself, like put that on iTunes or something. You're just complaining all this stuff. You need to do some research and know how to look for things. And it's like it I
Wait,
had to
what
deal with
is
this
he upset
guy.
about? Is he upset that,
He,
like, by having a digital edition, it devalues the vinyl? Is that what he's
Yeah,
trying to say?
that I think that's what he's saying, and then saying like I could just pay the $90 to buy the CD itself, but it's like I don't want to pay $90 for a CD that could be like 30 or whatever. But uh, after all this arguing, the dude ended up ending the argument by giving me a link to download the actual like soundtrack. I was like, dude, all this guy had to do was just say, "I like collecting, but here's the link to download the soundtrack if you want it." That is it. And he just sat there for like just getting mad, and it's just like, okay,
Was
yeah.
it was it like a pirate link or like an actual official purchasable
It's
thing?
it's a super duper legal in the sense that like you can download it, but it tells you that where it's available if you want to do it legally. Like
Meaning what? So is it available legally digitally
it's
or no?
it's legal in the sense that you can download it without having to exchange any money at all for it.
You're just being very gray here, Theo. I'm assuming you would download it illegally, but you own a vinyl that I assume you paid $120 for, so I don't care.
The vinyl was 80. Okay.
Whatever.
So it's different, and it came with a free vinyl that's this. You see how cool it's like, and it has a blue record. So yeah,
Pretty sweet.
and it's the Velvet Room theme on top of that.
Oh,
So
great.
all right,
What kind of record player you got?
I don't know, like so our basement got flooded in 2018. Like
Oh, okay.
one of the pipes that like under the house, like you have like the pipes for like the rainwater or whatever, like it goes to
Hmm.
the gutter, goes to those pipes. Those got clogged because they were just old. They were there since the house was built. Now and it started coming to the basement. So we were just going through the basement, just clearing all this stuff out, like all these bugs, all this stuff. We saw this one record. We saw a record player that we've never used before,
Huh.
and it's like, okay, this is whatever. And then we started seeing all these records. We had like the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, all these bands, even bands I never even heard of. And it's like, oh, we should just keep the record player. Just if you ever want to listen to these like records, we could just pop it in. So
Mhm.
I don't know what kind it is. The only thing I know is that it is semi modern in the sense that you can like burn a vinyl onto a USB drive.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I've
How
done
does
it.
that work? Do you have to play the whole thing sequentially while it's like? How does it? Yeah. How does
It's
it work?
kind of bullshit. I kind of hate it. I think maybe future record players fix this issue, but you would plug in a USB, you would hit record, and it would just go with whatever it reads, and then as it would just play the record as it's recording.
Mhm.
So I think you could tell it to stop and start recording it when you want. It's just that I think there's a delay when you were to do that. Because I did that, I tried that on another vinyl I had, and it just didn't record the whole song. It recorded the
Mhm.
first song decently, but the second song when I did stop and start, it didn't start recording till like the end of that track.
Did you place the needle? Did you pick up the needle and place it back on?
No, I was
Probably why.
kind of lazy about it. I should have done that, but
Probably why it didn't work, but I have no idea how that works. I've never heard of that technology. That's kind of cool, though.
yeah, I didn't know that either. Like when my mom was telling me about it, I was like, it can record stuff to USB. What? I thought it was like you have a song on a USB, you plug it in, and then it just plays off the USB. But it's like no, you can put it on the USB. But the quality also is kind of diminished a little bit though. Like you could
Mm.
some records, I think some of my records are kind of dirty. So when the needle goes through it, it doesn't play the full track. So it would record that as well. So it's
Hmm. Well, either way, I bet that feature really pisses off that guy that was yelling at you about trying to get a digital copy.
well, I think he knew about it because he said, "Well, you could get a rip from other people who had the vinyl that would do it." And it's like, okay, whatever. I mean that was like that was the last time I had a argument on a forum since like 2008. And 2008, I would.
Damn. You went 13 years without having an argument, and this guy just ruined the streak?
I guess technically, unless you count Twitter, because I did get into some Twitter arguments in the past, but that was like that's Twitter. That's a whole other section. But for forums, at least, like yeah, it ruined my
Like,
streak.
you're specifically talking about web forums? Who even uses those anymore?
It's funny. There's a web forum I'm a part of called the Cardboard Box. It used to be a Metal Gear Solid forum. Like it was,
Makes sense.
and it was great. Like we were talking about MGS5. It was all like I made a lot of friends there. The second the Phantom Pain came out, that forum fucking died. It went off a cliff. Like the last post was like 2018.
You would think that it would go up because Phantom Pain came out, though.
Well, it was there like throughout the launch of it, but like after that, it's like it just kind of
Uh,
weaned off of clicks and all this. So like no one was going to the website anyway. So it's
hmm,
kind of a bummer in that regard. But
yeah. Okay.
now let's get back on track. That
Sorry.
it's fine. It's all good. I mean, it's a good distraction. This is kind of like a podcast anyway, so it's not like a egregious uh thing. But we picked a wonderful 101.
Wait.
Oh, you
Are you
know
gonna have?
I I fucked up. I was gonna start this episode with that fucking pose that he does at the beginning of each boss fight, like he does like this and
You could have saved it for next time. You blew it.
well,
Um. Also, are you gonna do? You have to have a separation. Are you gonna say the welcome? Right?
I
Because isn't it
I
pre-show,
did
real show?
I did that like before. Then we talked about vinyls and stuff, which I'll include in the episode because that it's only fair.
Working out the kinks, right, bud?
Yeah. Rome was not made in a day, so it's fine.
True story.
But yeah, I'm so glad I picked Wonderful 101. At least we talked about it, but I'm so glad I like forced it last episode because I'm so I asked you over the weekend if you were gonna continue your old file or start a new one. You started a new file.
I did not start a new file,
Oh,
actually,
okay.
because I'm only like an hour into the game. Or I
Uh
only was an hour into the game. So I was like, fuck it. I only beat like the first and second level or something.
yeah, I was in that same kind of place because I was like, yeah, I should start a new one. I looked at the runtime because I kind of loaded my file up anyway just to see if I could remember the controls, and it's like okay, I remember a lot of it actually, and I was like okay, I'll stick with this. And I look at the runtime, I was like 3 to 4 hours in, and I was like I could have sworn that was like longer because I didn't think you'd get the whip character so early in the game. I thought that was like I thought I was like 7 hours in, and it's like oh no, it's like three or four. It's like okay.
Yeah. I gotta say, I have not played a lot because So this past weekend I did a Spartan race. I
Ah.
actually like posted pictures of it on Instagram. I don't know if you saw it, but so I did that. So like my whole weekend I was in Vermont. Um, so I didn't play at all. I But I did, however, I did play Citizen Kane, the video game.
Oh, okay. You know what? I don't need to say anything anymore about Wonderful 101. Let's listen about Citizen Kane.
It fucking sucks. It doesn't suck. Let me take that back. But it's just like a basic RPG Maker game. It's like a parody. Um, it does have pretty good music though. I think you'd like the music. The only problem is it's humorous. So it's songs with like goofy lyrics in it, and I really get tired of it like the first time through. But like the instruments and stuff sound really good. I didn't beat it, but it's kind of funny.
Okay.
Worth checking out. If you want, it's free on Steam. It works on Mac, so you could play it yourself.
All right. I'll definitely check that out.
They say it's like 2 hours of gameplay, and it's a JRPG, and it's like no random encounters. It's all just like to fuck around. It's all just a parody of JRPGs.
All right. Yeah. I'll definitely check that
Moderately
out.
funny, moderately amusing, decent
Okay.
music.
Oh,
Um,
that sounds great. Is it all in black and white or is there color?
uh, hmm. I fucking don't know. I don't think about it. There was some kind of interesting visual style to it, and I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
Maybe it was black and white. Um, but
That
yeah. So
that
that's
really reminds
I
me
did
of
play.
oh, sorry.
What? Go ahead.
I was gonna say like hearing like the visual style just reminded me of this game I played, Liberated, which was an indie game from PAX that I played. I played the when it came out. That had a cool like visual style to it. It's like a comic, a graphic novel, pretty much as you go through it. But it's all in black and white. It has this, and that I thought was really fun. Like you get like a nice sensation when you like pull out your gun and you shoot it and you put it back, put it away. Like it has a lot of like satisfying sound effects.
Wait, I think I watched you play this game. What was it called?
Liberated.
Did you ever actually play it?
I did. I streamed it like last year, I think.
Did you beat it?
Yeah. I didn't beat it on stream though. I played like 2 hours of it and then I played the rest of it offline.
Mm.
But I do want to play it again because they now have voiced all of the cutscenes in that
Oh,
game.
it's pretty sick.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
only thing I didn't like was the story. Like it was a mix of like cool like sci-fi noir kind of whatever. And then it gets to the like kind of cringy, stupid like we could have just done without this at this point. Like it just seemed little silly. Like it almost felt kind of too amateur, like too young. Like the person who wrote the story was like 13 almost.
Well, okay. Speaking of the Matrix,
Oh
that's
shit.
another thing. Is that because the Matrix is just cartoonishly like these characters are evil. I'm in love, and love conquers all. Like you're gonna watch it, and you're gonna see what I'm talking about. It's like in the first like fight scene of the third one, it's like Trinity's like fighting all these dudes, and like this girl is like, "Don't mess with her. She's in love. She's capable of everything." It's like, who wrote this? A
Oh
10-year-old? Go
man.
fuck yourselves. I can't believe this is like $1 billion franchise.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
no like that's it always makes me laugh because what was it? I don't I think it was Gurren Lagann. Gurren Lagann's an anime. And man, I don't know if it's this or something else because I feel like that they kind of took that idea of like, oh, the power of love and just was so and use it as a joke. It was just like, yeah, fuck you, we're just gonna use this. I can't remember it now. Fuck.
But it's just
Uh
like cartoonish ideas of love. Like love conquers everything. It's like they're fighting the fucking overlords of the world, and it's like, no, we're gonna be able to beat you because we're in love. Shut the fuck up.
yeah.
Nonsense.
I don't know. It can't be Gurren Lagann because that one was more about like the about evolution and how like evolution has this crazy power that it can't be stopped, and if people evolve too much, it leads to their downfall, which which is something completely different. But
Yeah, it sounds nothing like what we're talking about.
I mean, there is like there
But
is a theme of love though in it, because the main character's girlfriend gets captured, and then he kind of like okay, now I remember it is Gurren Lagann, because they were saying like, how are we gonna save this person? And this guy has this big scientific explanation about it. He's like, oh, it's because of this and this and this and this. Everyone there's like, what? And he's like, oh, it's because of the power of love. And he's like,
oh, so they're
oh,
like fucking
okay,
around.
yeah, like why not
Okay.
just say that? It's like, okay.
Yeah.
So at least
Yeah,
it's
that's
kind of
funny.
like, they have an idea, but then it's like, I'll just make it dumb by saying it's this. It's like, okay, that's
Yeah. But so anyway, back to Wonderful 101. Sorry for the detour.
it's fine.
I can just tell you about my experience with it so far, because I just started playing where I left off. I think I'm on like level 3. I'm fighting some like giant robot in the sky. By the way, these have to be the worst heroes of all time, because everyone in this city must be dead at all time. Like, just every part of the level is just everything is getting destroyed. I'm like, no one's gonna be safe from these aliens, first of all. But like, I'm realizing this game is like, I've spent all my time. I played probably 2 or 3 hours, 2 hours maybe, and I was just like getting used to how the game works. And it's so weird because it's like not like a traditional action game at all. Like,
No.
not even a little bit. And it's like, it's kind of confusing because, like, first of all, so much shit is happening on the screen that is very hard to keep track of, like, what you're, even if you're using like a giant TV, it's like, what the fuck is happening right now? But it's like, really, the game is about like keeping people around you so you have the powers to use the power that you need to use at that time. And like, that's all the game is. It's like, there's a little bit of dodging is important and all that, but it's like, you need to have people so you can use your, what do they call it, unite morphs or whatever,
Yeah.
against in that particular situation. And that's like the whole game. And like, once you understand that, it's much easier to play. I don't know if you've ever played the game. Have you ever played the game Flicky? It's an
No.
old arcade game. How about, have you played Sonic 3D Blast?
No.
Okay, well, in both of those games, the object of the game is to collect these little birds and try to guide them to an exit, right? But what can happen is like enemies can hit the trail and knock them off, and you have to recollect them.
Oh, okay.
And that's like a major gameplay mechanic in Wonderful 101, right? It's like, you need to have these people around you so you can use Unite Morphs and other like special attacks, but they can get knocked off by being attacked, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that like, so it's like a big part of the game is like making sure you like keep them close, like you press square or whatever, or
Yeah.
X, whatever you're playing with, to keep people around you so you can dodge and keep them with you, and then you can use your Unite Morph techniques for the situation that you're in. And that's like really what most of the game is.
And
And it's like, the more techniques you get, the more
People
different
you need.
scenarios you need to deal with. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, now I need to mix it up. I might need to use a sword. I might need to use a whip, whatever, right?
Yeah, and then like there's also a battery that you have to like keep track of
Yes.
as well. Now, it's funny because you say like, oh, it's like a hack and slash that doesn't play traditionally. There is a part in this game I kind of like this part of the game because the game just forces you to not use any morphs at all. Like it takes that away, and I just like just the music and the story of that part of the game. So it's more of a story reason why I like it, but they force you to not have any morphs, and you really realize how shitty these characters are by themselves.
Yes.
Like you literally feel just like how like it just feels like you're just a piece of paper hitting a tank a lot of the
Yeah.
times. It's like, okay, and it takes a lot of battery too, so you can't do anything. And the other thing you've been mentioning, like how you can't really see what's going on. This game is the one game I like it, but I also hate it. Like I really can't see them ever doing a sequel to this game. It's impossible because this was designed for the Wii U. 100%. Like everything about it, like when you go inside buildings and they have that picture in picture, that screen is supposed to go on the gamepad initially. So there's that, and I think the Unite morphs are way easier on the gamepad as well. Like, you could draw the actual things you need. Well, with this, I had a lot of fucking issues getting the you get a claw power up as well. So to do the claw, it's like a zigzag, but then to do the whip, it's like a wavy motion. So it's like, all right, I need the claw. Okay, here's the whip. It's like I don't need the whip right now. All right, I need the whip. Okay, I don't need the claw right now. Like, I get a lot of that.
Yeah, the thing is, though, I think there's some sort of, there's some, like, shortcut you can do now. I couldn't figure it out, but, like, you can kind of, like, not have to draw them now. I think they added it in this version, right? Where you can, like, you press, like, RB or something, and it brings up a menu where you can just, like, change your leader, and then you don't have to draw it anymore or something like that.
I'll have to look in the menu. I mean, I don't remember seeing that. The other thing, so I don't know if you had this issue, but I was playing this last night, and I didn't remember having this issue at all in the past when I played this game. The game randomly pauses on me, and I don't know why. Like, there was a cutscene that was going on, and I'm like listening to it. Then all of a sudden, it just pauses. I'm like, the controller's down, the battery isn't like dead. Like, I don't know why it's paused. Then I charge it, still pauses. Like, it just happens randomly. And then, like, the touchscreen command comes up. It's so weird. It's like, I tried unpausing, it doesn't work. It just remains paused.
Yeah, I don't know. That hasn't happened to me. So, like, how often did it happen?
I would say it happens, like, every session. Every time I play it.
Like once or, like, several times?
I would say once every, like, 2 hours, let's say. Or, like, an hour.
It's not horrendous, but it still shouldn't happen.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's not like, but it would just be like, I don't know how to get out of the pause screen, because I pressed options, the start button, and it still would not leave. So it's like, I did all this shit, and it's like, it pauses, and I was like, do I quit the game? But I don't want to do this fucking level again.
What if you try, like, turning off the controller and turning it back on? Does it still pause?
I should try that next time. It would resolve itself on its own somehow. And I don't know what I do. Like, usually I just mash buttons until, like, it unpauses. And then it unpauses, then I can play the game again. But I think I might just have to press circle when that happens, because I think when I pressed circle today, when it happened today, I pressed circle and I left pretty fast. So it might just be that, but I just don't know why it's doing it in the first place.
Wait a second. What comes up when it pauses?
It's a green screen that says pause.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen this.
Because, like, if I press the options button, I just get, like, the inventory menu. I get, like, oh, do you want to, like, go through this? And it's funny to me when that happens, because it uses the controller speaker. So when it pauses, I just hear the game say, like, for every time you pause, I get a nickel. It's like, oh, okay, fuck you. I didn't want to pause.
Wait a second. Is your controller just broken? You sure you didn't just get fucking Mountain Dew and your goddamn...
No, I don't fucking throw my control. The only controller I ever thrown was a fight pad, the Mortal Kombat, like, little fight pad controller. That was the only thing I threw. Everything else I never threw. I never threw any other controller.
It doesn't have to be just throwing it, though. You might have some fucking Frito dust on your...
No, my hands are clean when I game. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Immaculate. Sure?
I don't get, like, a flaming hot Cheetos and start eating that and be like, okay, time to game.
Yeah, you're sure not someone sneaking in? Like, your brother sneaking in, fucking snacking, playing video games on the weekends or something?
I don't think he even games that hard, to be honest.
I don't know, man. Kingdom Hearts 3. Wasn't Kingdom Hearts the root of why you even got a PS2 in the first place?
Yeah, and he did play 3, and what's kind of funny, I don't know how he got 2 copies of Kingdom Hearts 3. I don't remember the story. And I was like, you know what, I'll try Kingdom Hearts 3. I just wanted to see how that game would play out for a person who never played the games. I played 1 a little bit, but I never really beat it. So I was like, I just want to see how lost and how silly this story is going to sound to me, just being an outsider. And then I just kind of dropped the game. I just got kind of bored with it. It's
The
like,
story is awful from the beginning of the games, though, and then it just keeps getting progressively worse. So even if you've played Kingdom, Donkey has a great video on the Kingdom Hearts story.
yeah,
Have you ever watched it?
I have.
It's 1,000% accurate. Like he's not even making jokes. He's just literally saying what the story is, and it's fucking hilarious because it's nonsensical.
that that's kind of the shit I kind of enjoy. I kind of enjoy the nonsense of stories like that. Like, what was it? There was something I was watching. Oh my god, it's gonna bother me now. Ava was one, but there's something else. But let's go with Ava for this example. But I just like sometimes like I just watch this show thinking, what would an outsider be like I remember like once I was watching End of Ava and my mom was there and she fell asleep without the beginning and all this stuff. She woke up like near like the middle of the movie to the end. And this is the part of the movie where it gets like really just fucked up. Like it shows like people dying, turning into goo. You see like a giant naked woman just like show up or whatever. Like all this stuff. Like if you watch the show and you watch the movie, like it makes sense. But like she just walks up in this random scene. She's like, what are you watching? What is this?"
She probably wanted to get you put in a mental hospital for that.
No,
She's like, "Oh no, my son's insane."
it's funny because it's that, and then like sometimes like I just like the theme song for that show would play on in the car ride, and she just would be like. She just doesn't know what the song is about, so she would just be like, "Oh, this song, like, oh, it's the best song ever." Da da. She just starts singing nonsense. It's like, oh, okay, but it's just the nonsensical words that are just thrown in that show. Like in the movies, there's this line where they just go on and on about like you have fused with a Nebuchadnezzar, and it's like, what the fuck is that? Like,
Okay, but we're not talking about just like weird in-universe things. We're talking about characters' motivations don't make sense.
yeah,
The villains don't make sense. Like contradictory things happen that don't tie into each other. Like that's what I'm talking about with nonsense and Like it's an incoherent plot that makes no sense. It's like it's just complete crap. So no one understands it. I don't even think the people that wrote that shit understand it. So it's not like fun, like, oh, this is weird. It's like this makes no fucking sense.
I'm really I kind of want to know whose hand was it in the story, because there's no way that was it, I think it's like Tatsu Nomura or whatever. I don't think he did every single Kingdom Hearts game that was released.
Probably not.
So for him to do 3 and then having the gall to be like, yeah, I'm gonna include everything in this. It's like, you didn't work on half these games and you're just gonna throw these characters into the blender. It's like
Which is a funny thing because you were talking about how No More Heroes references something in Travis Strikes Again. Like, you literally, to understand the first Kingdom Hearts game, you have to play some weird, like, Nintendo DS side game.
Yeah.
To make it make sense. So it's like, yeah, they've been doing that. And actually, never mind. It still doesn't make sense. I'm gonna watch after this. I'm gonna watch that Donkey video again because it's so funny.
Same.
Because he's literally just explaining the whole story, and it's incoherent.
Yeah, like it's that, but like the last thing I was in the Toy Story level, and it's just like I just couldn't care. Like every time that like something would happen, like the bad guy shows up, it's like, okay, like we have to go here because we're friends and we need to help friends. Sora, you seem like a friend. We're gonna help you because you're a friend. That's what friends do. It's like, oh, okay, Woody. Yep, that's the story of Toy Story, all right. Like,
yeah.
they just need to add Marvel. That's what I'm waiting for. Kingdom Hearts 4. They're gonna go to Captain America world.
Are they? Didn't they already do that?
No.
Didn't they go to some movie, some Marvel thing?
No.
In the third one? I made that up. You know what's funny about Toy Story and like Woody? You know how Tom Hanks is the voice of Woody, right?
Yeah.
Tom Hanks has a brother that sounds like him, who does all the voices and things like that. It's so funny. That's like his career is to just do his brother's voices.
Oh my god, that must be very depressing. Because
Hell no, that motherfucker's cashing checks. He probably doesn't give a fuck.
okay, yeah,
He's like,
but that, like you're making money, but like you're making money off of like something that like okay, let's say that let's say you do a very good Obama impression, and that's
yeah,
all you're known for, and it's like yeah, but I want to be an actor. Well, yeah,
fuck
okay,
it.
shut up. You're a good Obama impersonator. Just do that for the rest of your life. It's like oh, okay, like
No, this is the but like there's people that are bums. And like this is a lazy bum's dream. My brother does all the hard work. He's one of the most beloved actors of all time. And any animated role or any voice he's ever done, I just get to be the scab and make money off it. He probably loves it.
well,
Depending on his character, right? If he's like, I just want to cash some checks, he probably makes a great living off of it, and his brother gets to do all the hard work. It's great.
now
life.
wait. Actually, no, I'm thinking because I think I've seen his brother in actual shows as well. Because I think he was in Fargo. Because I think
Possibly.
he was the cop in the first season. The Gus, the guy that just sucked at his job. I think that he was that, and then he was some other
So
guy.
wait. So he was a method actor?
No, like he was a
No,
cop,
you
but
missed the joke, Theo. You know what a
oh,
method actor is, right?
was it like an actor that plays like he just lives his role for the
Yeah. So someone
okay.
that sucks at his job.
Hey, I will say his brother is not that bad of an actor though. He did good in Fargo, but it's just
I'm fucking kidding.
yeah.
I'm sure he's great, but it's hilarious just to say like he basically gets to leech off his brother without leeching off his brother. Like he technically is doing the work, but he only gets the work because he's his brother's brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's funny. Like just like oh yeah. Tom Hanks is probably like, hey brother, I got to do that Woody voice. You want to like do it for me?
Wasn't
It's like on an island somewhere.
aren't there like three brothers? There's Tom Hanks, another Hanks, and another one.
I think you're thinking of the Baldwins.
No, because I don't because I just remember there was an interview with either Tom Hanks or some other guy there, and they asked him like, what's your opinion on your brother not liking the vaccine or something? And he's like, that's his opinion. Like he just kind of gave a non-answer and just like walked off.
You might be talking about his son, Chet
Oh,
Hanks, who is
that
embarrassing.
okay. That, I was thinking because like I was like thinking I was like no, it can't be his brother. His brother doesn't look like because I think the image just kind of bummy too. It's like this guy looks
Yeah, you
like
don't
a
you don't
forgotten.
participate in white boy summer. You,
No, I was
you don't
doing gamer summer.
you don't know okay, so Chet Hanks is Tom Hanks' son, who like is like a rapper. Like he only has
Okay.
any notoriety because he's Tom Hanks' son. So he's like, yeah, and he's like does this thing where it's called White Boy Summer, and he's like it's all about appreciating black queens. You haven't seen this shit,
Oh my god, sounds
and he's dead
pretty
serious.
awful.
What?
Sounds awful. Sounds like
Oh,
ass.
it is awful.
Just
It's
oh
all
my
awful.
god.
He like speaks in Jamaican patois. It's pretty tough.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'll send you some videos later.
Yeah, but anyway, anyways, Wonderful 101, like that
I love how talking about Tom Hanks' bum son has knocked you back on track.
we have shifted from derailing it to Persona 4 discussions to just talking about nonsense. And I think, I think this is an improvement to Game Club. I think this makes Game Club way more like interesting. I think it's kind of like clickbaiting. People come in for the Wonderful 101 and then they hear all this other shit and they're just going to sit there and wait until they get to the actual point. So
I mean, we were talking about Wonderful 101. We just somehow ended up at Chet Hanks in White Boy Summer. It happens.
yeah.
It's a conversation piece.
So like the controls are just kind of weird in Wonderful 101. Just like the things you draw just seems kind of off. Like you get another cadet that drops bombs, and he's the same input as the hammer guy, and it's like
Is it the same though?
the only difference is that it's in a revert. It's like an inverted position. So like the hammer would be like straight line, then a circle. The bomb would be like a straight line backwards, and then a circle.
Yeah, you know what, Theo? I was gonna say you were full of shit, but now that I think about it, this game does not make any sense without a tablet.
Yeah, it's
How
designed for it.
how does the 2-player mode work? Have you played it?
I
I guess
think
you can play with 4 people.
I think I tried and it just wasn't fun. Like it it was just mindless like just enemies, like they just throw enemies at you, and it's
You
like,
said that
oh
with such concern. You're like, it wasn't fun.
yeah, it just I wanted it to be fun. I just liked I like I do like the game. It's just some of the stuff that, like, I just don't know how they could make a sequel. Like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, are we gonna make a sequel to Wonderful 101?" I'm just like, how? How would this happen?
But but let's think about this though, because the problem is that it's pretty tough to draw these shapes, right, with the thumbstick. But like, have you used gyro aim or gyro controls?
Yeah, yeah, I have. Zelda uses them a lot.
I was thinking, and I don't know if there's a way. Does PS4 have gyro? They must have it. That's
It does. They just
yeah.
don't use that anymore because of the meme.
You can't configure, because I'm wondering, and I might try this with Steam input. I have to get a gyro controller, but I've been meaning to get a gyroscope controller because Steam. Because you remember Did you watch the Narrow video on
Yeah,
gyro aim?
yeah.
And I wonder if this game would work well with gyro instead of the right thumbstick to draw. If you're just using your like
I think it
motor
would
skills
for
to draw.
I think it would work for like the big moments, like when it's like unite hand or whatever. Like those scenes, like that would work. But when you're doing like in combat, it might just be crazy because you're gonna be mashing like triangle or Y or whatever and doing this, like it'll just be like a lot.
That's the thing. Going back to what I said at the beginning, this game is not about. It's not about attacking really. It's
Oh
about
yeah.
drawing the right shape at the right time. Because really all this game is using the right item in your inventory, meaning like the right unite morph at the right time, right? It's like
Yeah.
if you could just pick it, then the reason it's interesting is because you have to draw it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you basically I don't know about you, but I'm not mashing buttons while I'm drawing the next shape. Like I just
Yeah,
like
that's true. I
yeah.
I just think for me, if that were to happen, I would just be tempted just to mash and draw at the same time. Like that would just happen to me. It's like, all right,
Yeah, but then
I'm
your thing would
like
be all fucked up. You'd be like going like this.
yeah, that's the problem. They need to design games to cater to me, but uh
Right.
I g- I mean, I think they could do a sequel. It's just that I don't know if it would be ideal because the Switch, I guess the Switch might be easier because I think if you're in portable mode, the screen is a touch screen. Like you could, because I think the remaster of this game, you could draw it on in portable mode just fine. Like it kind of plays the same. So I guess it could work. If they either way. So I guess it just would be like, how did people like this game as it is? The remaster as it is. Like if this was
Yeah.
suitable enough, then I could see it getting it. I just think that what I left this game thinking when I'm 6 hours in, like I love the style of this game. Like the thing that I was cracking up was that they kept the ship is called the Virgin something. The Virgin Mary? No, not the Virgin Mary. Uh oh my god, what is it? Oh, I'm gonna look this up.
It wasn't that funny if you don't fucking remember the name of the ship,
It's just
motherfucker.
it's funny in context. One. Oh, okay, the Virgin Victory. That's what it is. So
Okay.
they kept saying like, "Oh, there'll be another Virgin Victory," and it's just I sat there thinking, "There's no way that the person who like Kamiya and everyone else that worked on this game wrote this without like knowing what they were writing." I think the whole thing is just making fun of like Power Rangers and like that kind of shit and the fans, just making fun of them the whole time because like they have a lot of like innuendo with that almost. Like
Yeah.
I just love the tone of this game. I And it made me also kind of sad that Platinum just isn't the same almost. Like, their next game they're working on, I do not give a shit about. It's like Babylon's Labyrinth or whatever, and when that was announced, I was like, oh, maybe this will be good. I see the trailer they released this year, and it was like, this game looks garbage. Like,
Well, it's because they've gone away from like goofy shit to like gritty, like whatever.
yeah, but
Like
like,
nothing is like yeah.
it's just Scalebound was interesting. That I was actually like considering getting Xbox One for, and then Microsoft canceled it. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, cool. Like this. So it's just I don't think necessarily that like Platinum's like, oh, we're done with like doing goofy shit. Like Astral Chain was pretty good. Like I do like the idea of that game. It's just that I think they're stuck with this idea that they had, and maybe like I have a feeling that something was going on in Babylon's Labyrinth or whatever that game is called. I think something happened during development that shifted what that game was initially. Because a lot of people were saying that trailer did not look at all the same as the announcement trailer that they did. So there has to have been something, because there was a huge gap between the announcement and that trailer.
I got to see because I'm not caught up on this at all, so I don't know.
Yeah, because like it just seemed weird because like it's also a service game as well.
Uh,
So it's like, yeah, like I just have a feeling something happened where it's like this game needs to make a lot of money, and they're like, oh, okay, service game, I guess that'll make money. So it's
I gotta tell you, all these. I hate to be a fucking sky is falling person, but like all those fucking uh, free to play or like payment model games, the more they do that shit, it's gonna fucking kill games. It's like, what's the
yeah,
fucking point? If it's like I have to pay to win this game, who cares? So
like
stupid.
like a lot of people complained about Devil May Cry 5 having oh, you could buy the red orbs at the store, but like that
Yeah, it's kind of bullshit.
it is bullshit, but at the same time, it's like I don't that kind of DLC I don't really give a shit about, because it's like you get red orbs a lot in that game. Like you don't really have to try to get red orbs, and you'll get them. Especially now when they give you Bloody Palace, like you could just grind for money there. But there's a lot of other companies that take that for granted. Or, like they just exploit the shit out of it. And Square has been doing that a lot lately. Like with Avengers, they did it with that game, and I think they're just gonna do it with more games moving forward. They're just gonna try to find that right game where it's not, because like people didn't complain about Avengers for being a service game, but it just didn't run properly. So once they get a game that runs perfectly, that's just where they're gonna focus on.
Here's the problem I have with this. It's the same problem I have with. I've never liked cheats in video games. Like, it's like if you cheat, you didn't really beat the game. Like, you didn't play the game. You just cheated. Like, if okay, let's say red orbs, for instance. I don't know if there is, but I'm sure there's cheats you can use in the older Devil May Cry's to be like, I want infinite red orbs, and then you can just buy everything. So you just cheated your way through the game. You didn't have the skill to actually beat it, right? You just
Yeah,
fought
but
your way through it. So it's the same thing as that, except now it's monetized.
but
Like, what's the fucking point?
I get that. I think the argument about games as a service and that model, I agree that's shitty. It's just when it's DLC or microtransactions that are just very like uh if it's just like the red orbs or stuff that's that level, it's like I don't give a shit. Like if someone else bought that DLC, I don't care. Like it's like that doesn't affect me. But if I'm playing a game and it's like driving me to want to buy something, that's where I draw the line. Like when the game starts becoming designed for that. Like Devil May Cry 5 was not designed for you to go to the marketplace to buy the red orbs.
But
But when
where is the line, though? The line. So this is what I'm saying. It's impossible to know the line because it's like, am I not good at this game? Because they blur. It's completely blurred.
well,
It's like, am I not good
think
enough at this game, or do I not have
I
enough
think
upgrades to be good enough? You know what I'm saying?
I feel the line is drawn where you don't have to spend like, what is a good average time you would say would be to get higher experience or get like orbs? Like I mean, It doesn't have to be
There's
like
no
an
way to know.
exact.
There's no way to know though. It depends on the
Yeah.
game.
Well, I guess it could also be the amount of upgrades because Devil May Cry 5's upgrades are not. They're not a lot of them. Like there's not like a huge like map of upgrades. It's just very like small stuff. Like oh, you unlock combo string 1, combo string 2, but like it's not anything that's like a lot, and you can unlock that. You could go through that pretty quickly if like I don't know. Like I just don't feel like with Devil May Cry 5, for example, if you look at that game, I don't think anyone would play that game and be like, "Oh man, I need to buy the DLC because I'm not getting enough orbs to buy this." Like you're
That's the
always
thing,
able
though,
to
Theo.
upgrade though.
You don't know that though. That's my point. Is that
But
okay?
I'm not
Think
good
about
at
a game.
but like well, for example, okay. I'm not good at Devil May Cry 5. I don't get like S ranks all the time or anything like that. I get like C's, D's, B's, whatever. I go all over the place. But if I go to the upgrade store, I usually have enough to make at least one upgrade, if not two. And I think if that's the case, that's fine. There's no issue. But if I'm going to an upgrade menu after a mission and it's like, "Oh, I don't have enough for an upgrade." Like and that's been like that for like 3 missions or so. I think that would be a little ridiculous. Like one would be like, I don't know, this is a little silly. I should have had at least enough for one upgrade. When a game starts saying like, okay, you're level 20, well, you need to be level 60 to get to this part of the game. It's like that shouldn't be happening.
But games already do that though.
Yeah, and
But
that's the problem.
It's like a more natural. But that's what I'm saying. It's like there's a more natural progression. But it's like, oh, I can just buy my way through it. Like you don't like that's the problem I'm saying. You don't know whether it's designed to be like, okay, this is the experience you need to get there, and this is the natural progression of the game, or should I just be buying this because it's taking too long? Like you don't. There's no way to know if the game is balanced in that way. It's impossible to know.
I don't know. I feel like if you're sitting there thinking, like, if anyone that's playing a game is sitting there thinking I'm not making enough to make a single upgrade or anything, then that's kind of that's when the issues start to come up.
I'm gonna think of a good example of this, but this exists in games before any of this was a problem, and it's like with these modern options, you would think, okay, I need to buy one way through this, but it's not how it's supposed to be. It's like that was how the game was designed, and I don't know how to explain this without like a good example, but it's like,
but
when you have the option to buy your way through it, it's like, why not just fucking do it? That's the problem I have with it. It's just like there's no way to know whether you're good enough at the game or you're just buying your way through it. Or the other alternative is like, am I just bad at this game or do I need to buy it? There's no way to know. Like whereas before it's like, no, you're not good enough at this game, bitch. Get better. And then you'll get to the next level.
But what if that line of thought is just not even like.
Yeah, they definitely don't consider it because they want to make fucking money. They don't care.
Because that could have been I don't know the word to describe it. It just seems like it's gonna sound kind of crude, but like a made up reason, like a made up excuse to say that that's the case. Because if before, like, oh, this is taking me a long time to get to this point, oh, it's because I'm not good enough. What is to say that the games now, that's still the case? Like just because it adds a DLC to it, how does that necessarily mean? Oh, but that could just be like, hey, this is how we design a game. We're just gonna give this other thing on top of that. Like if that was the case in like the 1990s, let's say, like there's a game that you have to like grind to get through, and it's like, okay, I'm not good enough to get through this game or whatever. But then like they release a sequel in 2020, and it's like, oh well, it's designed the same way, the exact same way, but here's DLC to get through it if you want. So
exactly.
With that, but then you're saying that the game designed back then was designed for this. But then you'd be saying that the game designed back in the 90s was designed with this model in mind way before this was a thing.
No, it's the difference is you can buy your way through the game without ever getting better at the game. So what's the fucking point of playing? Like, I hate when I buy a complete version of a game, like when it's like all the DLCs included, and then they give me some super weapon, and I'm like, I wasn't even supposed to have this fucking thing. Like, this happened to me when I played Disgaea 2. Or Disgaea 4. I played a Disgaea game, and they gave me this character. I'm like, this character rules. And then I read after I beat the game, I was like, it was like, that's a DLC character you're not supposed to have because they're like a super weapon. And I'm like, I fucking played the game with a fucking super weapon. I was pissed. And it's like, I didn't really play the game. Fuck you for doing that to me.
Yeah, no, I get
I don't-
I agree with that too. I do agree that like when they give you just every like that should be unlockable stuff at that point. Like, oh, you
Right.
get this at the end of the game. Like they should look at the trajectory of when the DLC was launched versus when the game came out. Like if this was DLC that was like, okay, this is a part of a season pass or something. They should have said like, okay, well, this weapon came out like a year after or a few months after launch. This should be an unlock. This should be like given to an on the next file or something, or a new
But
game
that's my
plus.
whole point though, is like there is no reason to gate it that way because they don't give a fuck. It's just
Yeah.
like you can buy your way, you can buy this super character whenever you want, but it's like now I bought the game like 7 years later, and it's like you get all of it with it, and you don't even know what you're dealing with is some like special character because you bought the entire game. So it's like I would have had a much tougher time playing the game if I didn't have this special character that I didn't know was a special
Man.
character. I'm so pissed about this.
You know
Actually.
what's kind of funny that about this as well because this would also bother you too. Uh, I don't necessarily remember the circumstance, but when Persona 5 Royal came out, they had a DLC where it's like, okay, all the DLC you bought for the vanilla game could be transferred over to Royal, which is like, okay, I'll do that. I kind of feel like that I did just gave me the entire DLC for the vanilla game, which is fine. It's like, okay, whatever, costumes. The costumes have no like bearing on anything, so it's like, okay, fine, except for like I can listen to music, whatever. The one thing I didn't realize until like halfway through the game, they give you all the personas from like the other games as well. So they give you a persona from Persona 3, 4, and all this.
There you go.
And at first it's like, okay, whatever. Like I thought these were just base stats or whatever. But it's like, yeah, this one actually has like all this like god tier stats. I was like, oh, okay. But you know, I stopped using it, so it wasn't a problem anymore.
But it's like
But it's
yeah,
there. But yeah.
exactly my point though. But this is exactly my point. Okay, you've made my point for me. It's like don't give me that character and act like it's some normal shit.
Yeah.
And then I find out later that I just cheated my way through the game. Like I wanted to play the game as it was tuned to be. I don't want to just pay to win. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's how all these games are now.
Yeah, I think honestly the it's the indie scene that is important, but I mean even with like Platinum Games, I wouldn't say like even with Babylon 5 or whatever the fuck, it's like I don't think that they're going to be a company that's gonna go down that path 100%. Because I think this might just be like a Square Enix kind of thing because it's a Square game as well. Like Square, I think, is publishing it, so they could have just been like, "Hey, we need this game, you make it."
Right.
So because I don't think Platinum would want to do like that kind of model anyway. Like I don't think that their original IPs would do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I'm just more of a bummer. Like Bayonetta 3, we have heard still nothing at this point. That game is canceled, so it's like. I as much as I want to hold out hope for that game, it's just never gonna happen. Wonderful 101 is like has all this character that's like this, like it's not even like dated kind of stuff either. Like I think like even if this was a new game, it would still get attention. Because I think like even like Platinum has a lot. Like even like when they worked on Nier Automata, that had a lot of character as well. Even though that's also like technically a Yoko Taro game, but. Even that like has its own quirks to it, so I'm not that concerned about Platinum. I am concerned with the industry as a whole because I don't think we talked about this. I think last week, Sony had their PlayStation event, And I left that event kind of depressed about where everything is, because uh E3 was nothing but fucking Marvel for Square. It was just Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, this and that. And it's like, oh, okay, like it's Square. Okay, they're publishing it. It makes sense for them to kind of push it onto people.
Mhm.
But then like Sony had their event. And it's like, all right, Deathloop. Okay,
Spider-Man.
cool. Oh, they had this one game called like Project Eve. That game looked awesome. I was like, oh, this game, like I'll check this game out if I ever get a PS5. Sure. But then it's like, all right, Wolverine. Okay, cool. Like Spider-Man 2. Okay. All right, Guardians of the Galaxy. I restreamed that event, and I just muted the fucking video at that point. It's like, I don't need to hear this. It's like, I'll just wait until this is done and wait for a trailer that's like different. So I just left that thinking, like, all Sony's doing is just showing us Marvel, like, and I'm just thinking, like, how long until like Disney just buys Insomniac to just make these Marvel games themselves? Like, Insomniac, they did Ratchet and Clank, which did decently, I think, for the PS5, and it's like they've done also Resistance, which is a decent FPS, and it's like, what are they doing now? It's like, oh, well, they're doing like three,
Spider-Man, Wolverine.
yeah, and it's like, what's next? Like, where's the next IP from them?
I don't know, man. You can't look at the big companies, I don't think, because all they care about, if it doesn't make $10 billion, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
So
I mean, and I think to me, like, I think this doesn't hit me as hard because I kind of stopped caring about AAA like PS3, PS4 era. Like, that's kind of when I was like, I'm more interested about these indies or whatever game that comes on my radar, because it's just with PS3, it was just like the second they were like doing like online passes, I was like, oh, okay, fuck off. Like, we don't need this. And then then it was like season pass every day. This season passes used to be like 20 to 30, and I was like, that's a fine window for a season pass to aim for. The second it was like $40, $50, it's like, all right, bye, goodbye, and that was it. Like, it's just that, and it's just I can't really feel any, like, EA is just done. I'm done with EA completely. Like, every single game.
The funniest thing about the season passes is you pay for it, right? And none of the content is guaranteed. Like, you can buy a season pass and like one DLC will come out, and it's like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, like
it's ridiculous.
Why
would anyone pay? Why would anyone buy that?
That's what I love about Travis Strikes Again season pass. The fact that it was like, okay, for physical, you just get it for free. It just comes with the game. If you buy digitally, you have to buy the season pass separately. But it was kind of clear that this season pass was planned ahead of time. Like, they knew what they were doing with it. Like, they knew they were gonna give you two characters. So it's like, okay, like that, at least because it ends with Shinobu showing up, and that's one of the DLC characters, and it also ends with Bad Girl in the game by the end, and it's like, these characters are in the game right here. There's like, there's a Death Ball that's like not shown yet. Like, it's like, oh, this one's not, you don't have it yet or whatever. It's like, okay, this is coming much later. So at least that game, this pretty much told you, like, yeah, it's coming. Don't worry, we have it all planned out. And it came out like in like months. Like, it came out like in March, which was like a month after release or so, and then 2 months later it was the Shinobu DLC that came out. So it's like, it came out so quickly that's like, yeah, these were obviously in development for forever with the main game. But it's just, where that shit was going on, it's like, yeah, these indie, like, every indie game I've seen, it's like, you get what you pay for, and they're cheaper. So it's like, I'll take my chances with them any day of the week at this point.
Right.
And they care more about what they make. Like, every Twitter I've seen of an indie game, it's like they always try to have like a conversation with the player base. Even Kamiya, there was one I retweeted that I loved. It was this guy replied to Kamiya saying, "Your games suck," and he just copies what he says as, "Yeah, your games suck." It's like, oh yeah, okay, like, I
Okay.
just I just love like Kamiya's Twitter. That's like the only reason why I love Twitter. Is just his whole Twitter feed's like a work of art. Just looking at it.
So related to Wonderful 101, right? What do you think of Okami?
So I think I talked about this before. I played it like 3 times. I played it first when on the PS2, and I got bored. The story felt like it was just it. The beginning felt like it was going on and on and on, like it just wouldn't
I
stop.
agree.
And then I played it again on the PS4, and I kind of liked it more. I think I still think the story is a very slow moving story, so it's like if that's not your speed, it's like yeah, you're gonna sleep through the game and just not like it. But I love the gameplay. It was so like interesting. Like you have a projectile like howl attack. You can uh just do this like hack and slash stuff. The art stuff was kind of fun too. Like and it actually translated very well on well, it was a PS2 game. I almost thought it was a Wii game. I almost tricked myself into thinking that, but
Yeah.
I played it again, and for some reason, so on the PS4, I got stuck. There's this door that wouldn't open. These two guys were saying like, "You need to find the princess, and then we'll open the door." And it's like, okay, where do I go? One side's like a dead end, and I don't know where else to go. It's like, how far do I backtrack? So I
Yeah.
stopped. I played the Switch version because I was away at the time, and I made it to the part I was past on the PS4. Like, there's a part you have to find like 9 dogs, which I found very easily on the PS4. But for some reason, I couldn't find it on the Switch. I was just like, I can't find these dogs. I don't know where to go, and I stopped playing. It's like so. I love the game. It's just that it doesn't give you any direction at all. Sometimes
Well, right.
they give you an objective, but
But
they just don't tell you like an idea.
my whole point is, with all the drawing stuff you do in Okami, isn't Wonderful 101 kind of just a fast-paced,
Yeah,
real-time
yeah.
version of that?
I think,
So,
and it's
so how
more
can you say it doesn't
well.
doesn't work then?
It's more cruel in comparison to Okami because Okami, like, you could just fuck around and you'll get what you want. Like, you have to slash, and it's like, okay, you just do that. The only thing that is the one thing that you say I do remember. The one thing I did not like about Okami. A lot of the boss fights rely a lot on that gimmick, and the first boss I did it decently, but I just after playing it I was like, I know there's gonna be harder boss fights, and it's probably gonna be hard just because of the brush mechanic. I just know
Yeah.
I'm gonna encounter a boss, and it's just gonna be like I'm doing it, and I'm just dying. The only thing I think it does a better job pausing the action a little bit, but
Right.
it times you on what you can do as well because you drain ink at the same time doing it,
Yeah, which is
uh,
bad.
which is like the
Like
same thing as
now even
battery.
even you talking through it, it makes me realize that the comparison is way more accurate than I even just thought it was. Like it really builds upon like Wonderful 101 is basically an action version of Okami, like an arcadey action version of Okami.
But Yoshi did bring up a good point because I was just thinking about this. He says that the symbols are less complicated in Okami, and that's exactly how I feel about it.
Fair,
Because like,
fair.
I think what it wants you to do with them is it can be tricky, but the overall symbols it needs from you are very like easy.
Mhm.
As I said, like with Wonderful 101, it's fine. It's just that there's like 4 power-ups that have so similar uh symbols that the game gives you the wrong thing. Like to do the claw is like a zigzag. And then like
Yeah,
and the fact that the whip is like the wave, it's like I get the wave way easier because it's such a rounded motion in general
yeah,
to draw. So it's like I don't want this. I want that.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say on this too, and this helped me because I had a really tough time drawing the glider as a
Yes,
triangle.
I hated the
But
glider.
But
because of that.
here is something that I think helps, and maybe you could try this too and see if it helps you. If you don't look at the screen and just do the motion, right? So if you're trying to actually draw it, it doesn't work for me. But if I just did, I'm drawing a triangle with the stick, worked.
Okay. The other
So if you like do the motion, I think it works better. But if you're trying to like look and be like, okay, I need to go this way, not gonna fucking work.
Well, the other thing that this game does is that if you don't have enough people in the formation,
it just doesn't work at all.
Yeah,
it just does some other shit.
Yeah, and then it's like if you're just in a pinch, like just in a pinch, it's like, oh my god, I was doing a fight today, and it's like it knocked all of my people away, and I was like, I could have sworn I did the parry. Like there's like a when you become like the big blob or whatever, it's like I swear I did that the right time. And either it was too early doing it, or it's like maybe I misread the attack, whatever it may be. All my people were apart. And it's like the guy is stunned now. I need the fucking whip, and it's like two little people. It's like god damn it. The other thing.
Oh, go ahead.
The other thing I was gonna say, there's another boss fight. I don't know if I don't think you've seen this guy. His character's name is like Prince Vulcan, and
I don't know yet.
The idea of this.
Honestly, I'm. The story, I'm just fucking skimming. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck.
The story, I love the story just because it's so fucking like stupid and over the top corny. Like,
yeah,
it's
that's
cheesy,
what I love. But it's not too cheesy. But I just don't care.
Yeah, I don't
care.
The thing that I was also cracking up was every boss fight is Wonder Red always tells them like, you need to surrender peacefully or we'll have to take you down by force. And he's like, and the boss would just be like, fuck you, I'm just gonna fucking kill you. I don't care, like, whatever. It's like, guys, it seems diplomacy has failed again. It's like, every time it's like, diplomacy has failed. And it's like, that always cracks me up. And that never gets old to me. It's like just hearing diplomacy has failed. It's like, they generally try for it, and it's like, it always fails. It's like, that's how it is all the time in any of these kind of shows or stories. It's always like,
right.
They always go for that, and they never go all the way with that. I love hearing diplomacy has failed. It's like, okay, but the idea of Prince Vulcan is that he's kind of like your mirror. Like, he's another guy that does the same kind of shit you do. Like, he also has unite morphs and all this stuff. Like, he's like, a shadow character pretty much.
Right. Typical.
So I like it. I like the idea of the boss fight on paper, but it is such a pain in the ass. Like, I just sit there and just tank hits. I just die just to respawn, pretty much, to get through it. Because that's the other thing that this game does. If you die... Now, I feel that this is another thing they changed in the remaster, because I think the Wii U version, when you die in that game, you just start at the beginning of the mission. So, like, you could be on the boss fight, and if you die, you just start at the beginning. In this, it's like, if you die, you just start where you pick up.
Right, which is annoying to me, too, because I literally chose not to continue, and I loaded my game again, and I was on the boss. I was like, wait, I did this because I wanted to start at the beginning.
Yeah, because I think
I don't know. I don't really know how it works. Like I've been saying, I literally just realized how to play this game. Like, this game is really mostly about managing your allies. What do they call them? Heroes, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Keeping those people around you so you can use the right morphs forms at the right time. Because I was playing it really more like a traditional action game. It's just not. So I don't want to make any judgments on this game right now, because right now I'm kind of like, it's okay. But like, I really just learned. I'm like, oh, like I was playing it before, and I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I'm completely playing this game wrong.
Because I will say, like, I know where you're coming from, because when I first played this game, even on the Wii U, it's like, I just couldn't get around the controls and the combat. It's like, this is just way too much. It's like Pikmin on steroids. Like, Pikmin is like, you're carrying all of these Pikmin, you're just throwing them at enemies. It's like, okay, like, the most complex it gets is that you're cycling through different types. But it's like, okay, whatever. And this just seems like, let's take that and make it to a hack and slash. And it's like, why Pikmin? Why look at that for this? But I kind of like just gave up on it on the Wii U, the remaster came around, I was like, I should give the game another chance. It has a nice style to it, charm, whatever. And it's like, I felt the same way. Like the combat's kind of like good. It's like nothing like amazing. But now when we're doing this for Game Club, I've been playing this more and more, and I've been loving the feel of it. Like I have been getting more accustomed to the arms a little bit better. The only one I don't use is the gun. The gun just is not fun. It's just doing this, and it's like it's not my favorite.
I haven't had to use it yet, but I'm sure there's places where it's necessary.
It's kind of sparing when you use it though. Like I kind of feel like even they knew the gun sucked, so they're just like, we're not gonna use this all the way. Like it's only used for platforming, pretty much.
Yeah,
or like stories or like cutscenes or whatever when you're doing like the finishing move or whatever. But it's just with Vorkin, it's just like you don't get any satisfying feedback with him. Versus like when you do these big like mech fights, it's like you actually feel like you're doing damage to each giant enemy. But
right.
you're not gonna know until you get further in, and you see what happens. The one thing that I think you're gonna, well, you mentioned that the heroes suck at the beginning, and I was gonna bring this up. In the story, the whole game pretty much says that they suck as well. Like there's another character that's like a police officer, whatever, like a space police, whatever, shows up, and they're like, yeah, you really suck. Like, you guys just infight all the time. Like, you guys are not a team. What the fuck? Like, Blue just goes off, does his own thing, and, like, puts everyone in danger. It's like, no, like they're just like, what the fuck? Like, shut up, bitch. Just go away. And, like, fine, I'll leave, but you guys suck. You are just terrible heroes. And it just leaves.
They do suck. I mean, they're letting pretty much the entire city gets destroyed in every mission you play.
Yeah, like, and none of the villains take them seriously. Like
right.
Prince Vulcan keeps calling them like Blunder Red. Oh, like he calls like Earth Dearth instead. Like oh, you gotta protect Dearth, aren't you? Blunder Red. He's like, oh, my name's Wonder Red. Whatever, you're just whatever. Just does whatever they want. Like the villains are more competent than they are. It's
childish.
I think that's why it's called like. I think that's also why like they have the most over the top costumes. The ship is called like the Virgin Victory. Like it's all this stuff is just shitting on like fans of Power Rangers pretty much.
Right. So are we getting trashed in the comments or what?
So when we were talking about Okan, well, they go a little bit further back. When we were talking about the game industry, Storm says preach, hate that stuff about the DLC bonus stuff you were talking about. Then Yoshi says Persona 5 Royal is a baby game even without the OP personas anyway. Well, I'm not gonna
baby game.
I'm not gonna wholly disagree because I do think it is an easier game, but it says it's better than 4. It's way better than 4. 3 is the best though. That reigns supreme. 3 and 2. I'm loving 2 the more I play it. I played it today and that game is like it's so good.
What you're saying is Persona gets progressively worse as it goes on.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Persona 4 is like the plague. It cursed the franchise. The second it was doing that, it's like, yeah, because they're normies. I'm telling you, the people like 4, they probably never played 2, and they probably don't like 3 because 3 made them cry or something. And then Storm says waifu souls. I think that's talking about when I said about Project Eve. Yuji says cape shit. Fuck yeah.
What is that?
Cape shit. Fuck yeah.
Cape shit.
Cape shit is a term that people are just using to describe like superhero stuff, like the Marvel movies. Like, oh, it's cape shit.
Yeah, they're really gonna. That bubble's gonna burst soon. I kind of hope.
I think it is because I've been noticing after Endgame, that whole surge of people have been dead. They've been dead silent about these other little things like WandaVision. It's like, oh, WandaVision, okay, whatever. And then after that, it's like, yeah, okay. Captain America. Okay. Oh, Black Widow sucks. Oh, all right. Like, it's been not as like strong. I think it's I think my theory is that Marvel's gonna shift to video games to do their new MCU. I think that's why we're seeing this big presence of Marvel all of a sudden in video games because I think that is getting all the excitement now, and I think that's gonna burst like later on. Once Disney starts making their own game console, that's gonna be when it is when it's gonna
I think
happen.
I think you're being way too optimistic with that. I think it's all cash grab shit.
Yeah,
I think the biggest problem that they have is that like they the movies became they really could have done whatever they wanted. And instead of doing that, they made the movies more and more like normie accessible.
yeah,
And now they're trying to do like really niche comic book plots, but with like stereotypical ass movies. They fucking blew it.
yeah.
They
Like,
should have they should have made everything weird as fuck when they had everyone's attention.
you know,
They fucked up.
I dunked on DC movies in the past, and you know they still suck. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, well, they're actually good now, guys. It's more of like I at least appreciate DC for doing such dumb shit with their movies.
Yes, I agree.
Like,
Just might as well go all out with it. Like
yeah.
be a comic book movie.
I mean, I think the Zack Snyder that whole thing just kind of sucks. That just genuinely just sucks. It's just a gray stone. It just all melts together into like a blob. But the other moves that they've done around the blob was like at least interesting. Like Suicide Squad, the new one was at least like interesting. The fact that they used all these like heroes that are not like bottom
Yeah,
of the barrel. Like DC probably didn't even know they had these characters in their like copyright. They're like, oh, we had Polka Dot Man. That's
yeah,
ours. And then you
right.
have like uh I didn't see Shazam yet. I do kind of want to watch that movie, but I don't think I'm gonna like it. I think I'm gonna hate that movie. I just have a feeling I'm not gonna like it. Joker I thought was just overrated. I think watch Kings of Comedy, and Driver. Taxi Driver, better movies. Joker just felt like it wanted to be those movies so badly that it was just annoying. It just got, I just like it's like I watched it first and I was like, it's good. Like I gave it like an 8 out of 10, and I still stand by that score. But then I was like, you know what? I heard that this movie is influenced by like Kings of Comedy and Taxi Driver, which are both Scorsese movies. I watched both of them. I love those movies way more than Joker. It made me hate Joker more in a way because it's like Kings of Comedy was actually like it was such an interesting idea. Like I just couldn't imagine that this was a movie. It was about this guy that was like, I'm gonna be a comedian. I'm gonna be like, then I'm gonna be on that talk show. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna be like the best guy ever. And no one and everyone hates him. He's like, you suck. Like you're not funny. Stick to your day job, whatever. And he ends up kidnapping the host. He kidnaps him. It's like, yeah, and he starts getting buzzed that way. And then it's
Oh,
like him just saying like it's such a good movie, as Robert De Niro in it, and he's amazing in that movie. Like it's such a good
yeah.
movie. Like he kind of plays the same character as he was in Joker, but kind of reversed, where he's like the guy doing like the fucked up shit, and he's like he turns himself in kind of, and he's like, yeah, but you know what? At least you know who I am now. It's like, yeah, now you're a
Wait,
criminal.
that's so funny. So, and Taxi Driver was De Niro too, right?
Yeah,
So it's so funny. It's like they had De Niro and Joker basically because like they ripped off the two movies he's in.
yeah. Like, and it's funny because I heard that from regular media, like, oh yeah, it's like these two movies, and I'm like, oh okay, like whatever. And after watching the movie, I kind of feel like Joker kind of just blatantly copies those movies. It kind of just feels like the director. I kind of feel the director is the same guy who did The Hangover, so I kind of just feel like he just kind of plagiarized those movies in a way.
Which isn't unusual though. Like a lot of movies are just plagiarized. Like
Yeah,
Taxi Driver, what was that? 1974. Like that was 50 years ago, right?
and
More
Kings
than
of
that,
Comedy is even older than that, I think.
right? So it's
So
like It's
I,
like
I
fucking
wouldn't.
Star Wars. Like A New Hope is ripped off from a bunch of old samurai movies, which were made 50 years before
Yeah.
it. So it's
Yeah.
like this is not something new. People rip shit off all the time.
Yeah. So I mean, it's whatever. So going
Yeah.
back to the chat, Storm does agree with you that Okami was a snoozer. He Borg quit the game. Then Yoshi, we almost had a fight between two viewers because because then Yoshi comes and says Okami is A plus plus. It got released on the Wii 2. The Sims are less complicated. And then that was it.
People love that game. I think it stinks. Not stinks.
There was no argument, but I was like I thought there would be. I thought there would be,
Oh,
but
people love that game though. I'm just like, it doesn't do it for me.
I
Like,
I
I
I
understand.
I generally think it's the charm because I think when I was playing that game, what I love doing is that the game gives you a bark button. So I just love running around just barking just at randomly. Like
Yeah,
that was nice.
yeah.
Um
I'm really sad. How do you say it? Is it Amaterasu? Is that how you say the name of the character?
yeah.
Because like apparently they're originally gonna put Jean from God Hand in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but they put Amaterasu instead.
Yeah.
I was like, this fucking game. I was like, that's why I was like, I want this game to be good because if they took her instead of Jean, then this game better rule. And I was like, fuck this. They should have put Jean. And I would love if Jean was
I
in Marvel vs.
I
Capcom.
kind of think it's fucked up that they have Beautiful Joe and Amy Amaterasu in that game because they're such tiny characters. Like I was playing this with Jency, and he was playing like normal size characters. Like he would play like Wesker, Jill, and Virgil, and I was like Amaterasu and Beautiful Joe and Dante, and they barely were hitting them. It's like what. Like this is kind of shitty, like for a fighting game. Like you just have a character that's like this, and then like a giant character where like if they hit, they just go over them, so they can't
Yeah.
realistically hit them. It's like
They
why?
must. They must balance it somehow. Like I don't remember, but like they must have smaller life bars or something, right?
I don't know. I don't know a lot about meta stuff in fighting games, like especially with Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Like the versus Capcom games, I don't give a shit about. Like the only one I genuinely loved was Tatsunoko versus Capcom. Like
Really?
yeah, I'd buy that game in a heartbeat. It has the best roster next to SNK versus Capcom, or is it Capcom versus SNK? It's one of those two.
There's both.
Yeah, those two
There's
always
Capcom
confuse
versus
me.
SNK and SNK versus Capcom. SNK versus Capcom is made by SNK, and Capcom versus SNK is made by Capcom.
Yeah, I get those confused, so I don't know which one is which. I have on my PS3. I don't know which one it is. The one with the good one, I guess.
I mean, I think all of them are good though. So, but I'm assuming it's Capcom versus SNK too.
Yeah, like it has Mackie, Eagle.
Yes, that's Capcom versus SNK too.
Okay. So that one I love. I love that one too. That has a good roster as well because it's just a huge roster of characters that I just enjoy. But Tatsunoko has like Alex, Batsu, Morrigan, all like it had like the Lost Planet machine in there, and then
Oh
The
yeah.
Tatsunoko side had like these weird ass characters like Karis, Kashurn, this one called like Door something like it starts with the D. It's some lady that it's such a weird character. It's like she has two ugly ass sidekicks that look like fucked up versions of Mario and Luigi. Like and she just throws them around just like okay, just fucking fight them. It's just insane what happens with that character. The character roster is so bizarre, and it's like I just love this game, and it's like I find it hard for them to like make it to re-release it because uh I don't know how Tatsunoko productions are in Japan. I don't know if they're still together or if they're still around or how easy it is to get the licensing for those characters.
I only played the game once. I don't. I'm pretty sure I knew like maybe three characters from the entire roster from the other side. I don't
Yeah.
like.
I
I don't know what that company is even.
I didn't know either because like the only thing I just remember like Ken the Eagle, which is like this oldest show I watched as a kid, and I didn't and I rented the DVD from Netflix years ago, and it was the weirdest shit. I was like floored what I watched, because it's like I remember the character designs, but I don't remember at all any of this. It's like the animation was just awful. The heroes, every time they were gonna end an episode and they do the big climactic battle, they always said, "This is the final solution." They just do this shit. It's like, what the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
I'm like, what the hell? I don't remember this. And then there was a scene where like they were trapped in a room, and it's like it's filling it with poisonous gas, and they're like, we need to get out of there. And then the villain's like, yeah, the guy who in the wheelchair, yeah, we put a bomb in his wheelchair, so good luck getting out, and you're gonna die anyway. And they're
like, you watching like eugenics propaganda when you were a kid, dude? Like, what the fuck?
And the way they get out of that predicament, Charles, it blew my mind. So this guy, they put the bum on his lap, and they just push the wheelchair just out. And it's like, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I was in tears. I was like, what is this show? Like, I wish I kept watching it, because I wanted to see if it got more fucked up, because I don't get it. And it was the best part, it was dubbed. It wasn't like, oh, this was subbed and like this like
just some weird shit.
The voice actors read the lines and didn't at all think, this sounds kind of fucked up. Maybe you should change it to be something else. It's like, no, we're gonna keep the like final solution part of it. It's like
I know, right? They just said that shit. Maniacs.
And the name of the show is like Team Ninja Science or something. Science Ninja Team Gotcha Man. And it's like,
this all sounds awful.
Yeah, I kind of want to try to find it again to watch it, but I feel like it's going to be expensive to get the DVD. So it's like, it's not
you could
worth
call
it.
Your friend that sent you the Persona 5 soundtrack. He could probably find you some links.
Oh, yeah.
Someone who ripped it on their record player.
There was something else I was going to say. Oh, well, it is what it is. Then someone did mention, they did agree with me. Games do make more than movies, so it makes sense that Marvel be steering towards making Marvel games than their shows. And then DJ Filthy Rich said DC animated movies are awesome. I
agree with that.
The only movie I hated that was animated was the series of movies that Batman and Son, like that line of movie when they had Damon Wayne. Yeah, those movies fucking sucked. I hated them. It's just Batman and Son is like, oh, all right, Batman. Oh, you got captured, so your son has to save you. Your son that hates you and all that shit. He's gonna have to like save you, and you're gonna know the value of being a parent. It's like, okay, fuck this. The one that pissed me off the most was Bad Blood, which was like about Batwoman. And I was like, this had such a cool ass idea of like, oh, let's focus on Batwoman. The more this movie went on, I hated it. It was like, alright, that movie made everyone Batman. Like, alright, this guy who's like Commissioner Gordon's son or whatever, oh, he gets into a suit and he becomes Cyber Bat or whatever. It's like, okay. Oh, this other guy down the street, oh, he's also Batman. It's like, what? That person there, that's also Bat. It's like, how many fucking Bat chick can you have? Like, there's Batwoman, Batgirl, Cyber Bat. They even made like a vehicle of Batman. It's like, enough. It used to just be Robin.
There's so many.
Yeah, it's too much. And
there's
it's like,
so many people in the Bat family, man. You can't stop them.
And the fuck that they crammed it into a movie that was about Batwoman. I kind of just feel like I've seen so many people on Twitter say like they claim about like sexism in movies, like, oh, they can't like have a movie with a female lead or at all. And this movie kind of cements that idea, because I feel like that they had this idea of being Batwoman as the main character, and some boomer must have said, no one's gonna like that, let's throw these other characters
5 other Batmen.
Yeah, we can't have Batwoman by herself. I mean who's gonna watch that? It's like, okay, like it was so annoying because there's no build up. Like, all these characters are just thrown out the window just into the movie.
That reminds me. I haven't seen any of those movies, but there was one. I don't remember which one it was. There was a Justice League movie that really sucked badly because like it was like the Justice League all coming together, but it was like 5 seconds. Like they didn't know each other, and then like 15 minutes in the movie, they're all like fighting this giant monster
I
somehow.
I think that was like the first like big animated Justice League movie that they did. I
Yeah, and
think.
it sucked. I forgot what it was
Yeah.
called.
I was it like Justice League War?
That might have been it.
I think
It
yeah, I
was
think
like
that's it.
it's like I was just like, this doesn't make. It's like we're supposed to believe none of these people met each other before, and they're just like now this like team.
And
And
then
it's like
they
it's
made
just
like
like they're
Batman like a
like,
cocky
hey,
asshole
I'm the
too.
Flash. What?
They make like Batman a cocky asshole too for no reason.
Yeah,
Like he was like,
yeah,
"Oh, who are you?" He's like, "I'm Batman." It's like,
yeah.
okay, like
It's like they would have at least heard of each other. Like this doesn't just happen overnight.
yeah. So I used to do these videos, where I do like commentaries on like movies. So I asked like my audio, like I asked someone like this in general in the last video, like, "Oh, recommend something, and I'll watch it for the next commentary." This guy recommended like Superman Unbound, and that movie also fucking stinks. Every character in that movie looked so goddamn ugly. Like, I just sat there. I was like, "This is a DC movie. Did they have like a fucking? Did they have like $5 to animate this movie? Like everything just was ugly. I hated it, and
Uh-huh.
the story was just fucking garbo too. Like everything about it just could go away."
Yeah.
So there's that. And then someone said like, "Did you watch the new Matrix trailer? Or do you guys hate that too?" I I I did. I will say about the new Matrix trailer, I am curious about it because it does look interesting. Like it does look like that the system was trying to keep, like, it does at least have continuity with the original trilogy. Like it doesn't seem like, oh, we're rebooting the story from square one. Like it does show like in the third movie, I like his eyes get burned for whatever reason. Like Keanu Reeves' eyes get burned for whatever reason. And there was like a scene in this movie where they show like his eyes being burned just for a second. So at least it's like, okay, like there's gonna be some connections between these two movies, maybe. Um,
Yeah. I don't watch movie trailers. I was mentioning this in the beginning. I don't know if they were there for this, but I was trashing the Matrix at the beginning of
yeah.
this whole thing. So I
I
do hate the Matrix. I think as well. I'm
it's
not sure if I hate it. I think I do.
I think it's interesting. But I feel like when these movies first came out, there was a huge buzz about them, and then in the mid 2000s or so, I think the sequels kind of soured people because no one really cared for Reloaded and Revolutions. No one liked that movie at all. So I think like around that time, like no one really cared, and then like the Nostalgia Critic does a video on it, and it's like, yeah, these movies are awful, and it's like, yeah, like this is kind of why I'm not like super into these like to review something negatively. That's one thing. Like, oh, maybe this game sucks, and I'll talk about why this thing sucks. But I feel with like Nostalgia Critic's career, his career fucking sucks ass. The beginning, it's like okay, he's actually doing bad movies, and then like at some point he starts doing like good movies and saying, "Well, this movie that's good. It actually sucks. Let me tell you why." It's like, okay, shut up. Like,
I've never watched a single one of that dude's videos
yeah.
because his face annoys me. So I have no opinion on this.
I felt bad because I used to think he was funny at the beginning of his career, and then like I showed it with a friend. I tried to watch the video with a friend of mine, and he was like, "Theo, this is like awful. This is so cringe. Can you just like fucking stop?" And I was like, after literally after that,
Just embarrassed out of being a fan.
yeah, no, because like after I was like, I agree. Like I started to agree with that. Uh, and then like and then his content starts sucking even more because he starts doing skits in his reviews, and the skits are not even funny. But what really just he did a video on Mad Max Fury Road, which I don't know how you could say that movie sucks. That movie fucking rules. And
Yeah, it does. It does rule.
he didn't even like do a review. He just did like a whole movie of like a skit about it. It's like okay, I don't even give a shit to even finish. And then
Yeah.
like I heard like and then he was in trending for doing a video on The Wall, the Pink Floyd song, saying that song sucks. And it's like And everyone's saying that he missed the point of the song. Like everyone's like, this guy did not get the song at all, and he's saying the song sucks. So it's just
Yeah.
a sad day to be that guy, especially like I think it's that might be the most depressing life to have because he's part of a website that had a mass walkout. Everyone left that website immediately because there was a leak of all this like misconduct, harassment, all this shit that was going on.
Of
Everyone
course.
leaves, and like Doug Walker's like left there by himself pretty much. Like that website's only him now. So it's like
Well,
he can't do anything. He can't do anything new now because like he tried to do new content and it just stinks. No
yeah.
one liked it.
I never. I've never watched him, so I don't know. But I assume it sucks.
Yeah,
You're just telling me.
he like he did this one show that was crowdfunded, and people are saying like, and people are like accusing him of like stealing money for it. Like they're saying like we paid you this amount, and the show you produced did not look at all what was promised or even like worth what was asked. Like they're like, yeah, he just pocketed the money probably. Like all this shit he did was just trash. So it's like any venture he did that was not nostalgic career just burned in flames. So it's like, oh, okay, like that's. But to go back to the Matrix, I think that also kind of made people kind of be like, okay, enough. Like the Matrix isn't that bad. Like it's not great. I think people are more like like there's no like hardcore fandom for that movie anymore for the series of movies.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious. It's been so long since the last movie that it's like, what's it gonna be? And the other thing that someone mentioned, so in the trailer they showed a guy that took the role of Morpheus, but it's not Lawrence Fishburne. It's someone else. And in one of the games for the Matrix, I think it was an MMO. They just outright kill Morpheus, so he's dead.
Really?
Yeah, they just kill him off because I don't know the story of the game. It's like there was some reason why they wanted him dead. It's like I think Morpheus is trying to negotiate with the machines to give them Neo's body back. Like, give us Neo's body back. It should be ours or whatever. And the machine's like,
So
we can't make a deal with him. Fucking kill him. And they just
so
kill
what
him.
really so really what happened is Lawrence Fishburne probably tried to negotiate a contract, and they're like, "We're not paying that motherfucker that much money," so they killed him in the game. I guarantee you that's what happened.
It might be that, but the thing is that like, well, it's weird because like every interview when they were asking Lawrence Fishburne, "Are you going to be in this new movie?" He's like, I don't know. Like he didn't give a definitive answer. He just kept saying, "I don't know." But the other thing is like, what's interesting is that the Wachowskis like they did kind of want the games to be canon with their movies. Like they didn't
Mhm.
like I think they did this other game where by the end it literally has the Wachowskis in the game just saying like, yeah, we were gonna do this in an idea for a movie. It didn't pan out, so we just put this in the game instead. And then so like they have this weird like idea of like they just want all this stuff to be canon with their stuff. Like the comics they did was
And
also
the
canon.
animation
Like
thing.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past them. Like maybe the idea of like Morpheus getting killed would be like an idea because it could also lead to what's going on in this movie. Like maybe they killed Morpheus for that reason, and also like if they try to reboot the Matrix, like he'd stand in their way. So it's like, hey, if he's gone, so too does the revolution that they
Who
had.
knows?
So
My whole point earlier was that I think all of the motivation of all the characters makes zero sense. So I'm gonna read the synopsises of the movies again and see if it makes any sense. And if it does, I'll watch this new one. If not, I'll watch a trailer and just never watch the movie.
yeah,
That's gonna be my take on it.
so I watched this show called Nine Perfect Strangers. I don't know if you've heard of that show. It's on Hulu.
I have heard of this. I don't remember what it's about though.
It's about these guys who go to like a resort to kind of become like it's one of those like retreats where it's like it's like a self-help place. Like, oh, we're gonna do this and we're gonna like purify your bodies or whatever. It's interesting. I like the actors. Like they have two actors I like from Boardwalk Empire. It has the guy who Michael Shannon who was uh Alden or whatever from Boardwalk Empire, and they had the mopey guy from that. But I like those two actors. They're good. But they have Nicole
Mhm.
Kidman, and I hate her in this show. She's awful. She they have her play a Russian character, so they have her do this fake Russian accent, and every time she talks, it's like it kind of feels like it kind of feels racist almost. It's like she's Australian, and it's like, oh right, you're Russian, so do a Russian accent, and it's like this is what they got. Just hire a fucking Russian actress. God damn, like it's so bad. Like she's like the worst part of that show. Like everything else is good, but that character, I can't stand it. It's awful. Like I am Russian. I ate a potato or whatever. I can't do a Russian accent, but it's like so bad. It's like this is so phony. Like leave.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good place to end this episode of
Okay.
Big Buddy Game Club.
Okay. I just thought of something because remember I was saying I was gonna text you the stuff about Chet Hanks. I think there was something else, but I don't remember what it is. But I was thinking actually I should just put it in your Discord chat room so people who might want to see it can see it too.
Yeah, you can do that.
People want to follow up. But what topic should I put it in? Should we make a channel or like a room for whatever for Big Bun Game Club?
Yeah, that might be a good idea. Yeah, I'll make. I'll make a channel and let you know when I make it.
Okay, and we can just post things that we talk about here.
Yeah.
Like that we're gonna follow up on, so everyone, if they want to see it, they can see it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'll do that then. Or if they have any questions, like we can actually like, because I think that the stream chat is delayed a bit. So they can also like, if they have any questions or anything, they could put that in the Discord as well.
Yeah, and they can hear all about White Boy Summer.
Yeah. I'll put the link in the to the Discord. Oh, I was gonna say, so after my Persona 2 stream, I decided to raid someone who was playing Persona. I couldn't find anyone playing Persona 2. Go figure. No one was playing that PSP game. Shocker. I know. Very surprising. So I settled for a guy playing Persona 5 Royal. I went to the guy who had the lowest views. I picked him, and I listened to the guy's stream. The guy was speaking German. The whole everything was German. I was like, I'm kind of glad I just rated this random German
guy.
Yeah, it was either German or Swedish. I think it was German. I'm not sure though. But I did not know Persona 5 had like these elaborate settings where even the game was done in German as well. I thought it was just like, well, I guess
voiced in German or just subtitled.
I don't know. I don't know if it's voiced in German actually. I didn't stick around too long. I'll have to check because the text was German. But after I said what I said, I was like, oh yeah, well it's text. I mean, text is easy to translate. But yeah, so that's great. So let's see if anyone's streaming this game.
Wonderful 101. Let's get. This is my favorite part. The raid. Fucking raid.
Oh, wrong window. Oh, it's right here. There should be a song that I should find that to play as I find a raid.
The raid siren.
Yeah, like I was watching the Mega 64 podcast like years ago. They used to do this thing called the ban off, and they just randomly would sing like ban off, 2012, ban off. You're gonna get banned today. It's like, okay. No one is streaming Wonderful 101.
Wow. Okay, what's another platinum game, maybe?
All right. I know people are playing this one. Bayonetta.
Someone's always playing Bayonetta.
Yeah, so you could pick Bayonetta 2 or Bayonetta 1.
You gotta do Bayonetta 2.
Yeah, there's. This guy has one viewer, so let's give him one more. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming and watching the Big Bun Game Club. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Hey.
All right.
We kept it